All right, folks, now we're going to switch around. Joining me now is my former colleague and good friend, Russ Vought, former Trump budget director, president of the Center for Renewing America. All right, Russ, this is going to be the most fun either of us have had in a long time. Joe Biden cannot help himself. Okay, he just has to attack conservatives. Here's what he said about you, I don't know, day before yesterday. I know you know this, but let's play it one more time.
Well, the former Trump budget director, who's now advising them, that is, the Republicans in the House, on their fiscal strategy, has a plan to slash over $2 trillion from Medicaid. Well, whether it gets passed, that's the plan, okay? He wants to end Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act, and then additional deep cuts that could lead to nearly 70 million people losing critical services. Most of them are seniors, people with disabilities, and children.
By the way, Russ, I'm not sure they're bad ideas, but I want you to speak for yourself on this. I know you've been putting the budget together. What's your response? Let's start just generically. What's your response to President Biden?
Well, look, I'm glad that he's now off the lies about saying that Republicans are after Social Security and Medicare, and they're not. Now he is talking about something that's real, that's in our budget, in the sense that we do want to reform Medicaid. 1 out of every $4 is improper in Medicaid. And it's going to, unfortunately, things across the country that is woke, that is weaponized against the American people. And it's because there is so much improper payment that they don't look at the illegal immigrants on the system. They don't look at the extent to which the fact that half the states in the country are doing gender-affirming transitions and hormone therapy, which is chemical castration. And the White House right now, the Department of Health and Human Services, is working on a rule to mandate gender-affirming care in every state. So Alabama, Florida, Virginia, you are getting that kind of health equity in your hospitals. Remember, it was CMS that, through the Medicaid program, forced all healthcare providers and healthcare workers to do the vaccine mandate. So that's what you're getting. And in the aftermath of Obamacare, they have spent so much money and attention putting able-bodied adults on the program that they have lost track of the actual vulnerable populations, the disabled, that the program was meant to. So he is totally wrong when he says that our budget is designed to take those people off of Medicaid. We want to take the able-bodied adults that can get health care through their employer, have them go off the program, and be in a situation that it can be focused on real disabled and vulnerable populations. But look, he's going to have a debate about woke and weaponized bureaucracy over this debt limit. We're excited for that debate. If he thinks he was giving us chin music, he's absolutely mistaken.
Well, what's wrong with asking able-bodied people to go off of these benefit programs? What's wrong with putting some kind of workfare or work requirements in this? What's wrong? I mean, you're not opposed, and this is my reading, but you and I have talked a lot about this down through the years. You're not opposed to helping folks. Folks need some help, they get some help. But this whole business has gone way too far, and able-bodied people need to be working. They would help the economy. They would cut spending. It would cut the budget deficit. They would get themselves, I think, a greater feeling, a job well done. That's what Bill Bennett always says. I'm assuming some kind of workfare is embodied in your budget proposals.
It is. We get sizable reform from putting a work requirement in Medicaid and food stamp to be able to increase labor force participation, get the economy going, get more people in the workforce, and give people dignity of work. And that's, we're fine with a social safety net. We are not fine with a benefit hammock that has kept people from going back into the workforce after COVID. It's a debate that we're going to have, and I'm excited for it because I think what the American people are going to increasingly realize is that these agencies that they think have been working on their behalf are actually weaponized against them and their health care. And we see that in Medicaid, and we see that in a lot of the different alphabet soup agencies across the federal government.
Russ, I know you're consulting very closely with the Republican Congress and the leaders. Are you proposing new spending caps in terms of these reforms, sequestration? I told Jeff Stein of the Washington Post that you and I were embracing Because for 10 days we had sequestration in the last Trump budget. I went out there and talked about it publicly. You called me up and said, great, and then it was gone. But I mean, now you got a chance to restore that. Budget caps, across the board cuts called sequestration, along with the program cuts. Can they do it? Will they go ahead and do it? Are they going to listen to you, Russ?
I hope so. I think they're going to be have a great fight on the debt limit. And here's very clearly what I think the debt limit ask should be. That they need to enact the cuts that they have agreed to in the appropriations process as part of the debt limit, to slash the bureaucracy and then to lock those cuts in with 10 years of discretionary caps. So you take all of the work that can be done to balance the budget, it's a third of the work, and do it this year on the debt limit. I think that's the fight. It is a very doable fight, but what the cartel, what this town will say, is they want to separate a debt limit and appropriations, and then you're in a situation where you can't get the votes to the Senate. You change that if you force the fights together and you say in the debt limit, we'll raise the debt limit, but you're concerned about us defaulting on our financials, which we're not going to do. Joe Biden, you have the ability to pay the interest and the principal. We're not going to default on the American dream. We're not going to default on freedom. And to the extent that your agencies and your bureaucrats are weaponized against half the country, that's going to change. That's the debate I think they need to have between now and June and July when the debt limit hits.
Go after it, Russ. Stay with it, buddy. Good stuff. Terrific stuff. Actually, inadvertently, Biden may have sort of told the truth for a change. Who knows? Russ Vought, great friend. All right, folks.